The purpose of today's lesson is to show you the draw tools in Word. We're going to begin by inserting a shape. Go to the Insert ribbon by clicking on the Insert tab. Notice that in the Insert ribbon we have in the Illustration group different shapes. The shapes are varied. Most recently used shapes are identified first. You have lines, rectangles, basic shapes, block arrows, equation shapes, flowchart shapes, stars and banners, but also callouts. Please remember when you use a callout that if you have a hard line, that is the equivalent of someone speaking. But if you're using a cloud, the person is thinking. So just to distinguish between those two different types of callouts. We're going to take a basic shape. So let me take this oval shape. Click and drag. Once you draw a shape onto your document, notice how you now see your drawing tools. The drawing tool ribbon opens. In addition, you could use your insert shapes over here at the left. The shape styles allows you to affect the fill, the outline color, and then additional styles. So I'm going to change my shape fill by clicking the down arrow next to shape fill and choosing a color. If you do not like the colors that are displayed, you can click more fill colors and now you have your color palette. Notice that it did not affect the line. The line is your shape outline, so you can go in and affect your shape outline as well. Now notice that with the shape outline, you have one line, but it maybe not be big enough for you. You can also change the width and the style of that line. We change the width by going into our weight under shape outline. So I can make this really rather large. In addition, I can go to my shape outline and I can use dashes if I wish. There are other things that you can do with this shape. If you take a look at Shape Effects, notice all of the new options available in Word 2010. You can apply a shadow, both an outer shadow or an inner shadow. You can go create a reflection. You can create a glow and pick the glow color. If you don't like these glow colors, again, you have more options from which to choose. You can even create your own unique glow color. If you do not like the glow, you can simply go back in, go to glow, and say no glow, and you're back to where you were. Check out the soft edge. This is affecting your entire document. Check out the bevel. Sometimes you'll see more of a bevel depending upon the shape that you have selected. You even have other 3D options. When you open up 3D options, notice that you can change your color, your depth. Feel free to play with this. You can even do a 3D rotation. So there's a lot that you can do in Word to create very cool shapes. Notice in the bottom corner of the shape styles, do you see how you have this little arrow? You can open up your shape styles window and notice how you're seeing the same thing that you did before under 3D options. So you can change your color fill here. You can make a gradient. You can even use a preset gradient. And if you use a preset gradient, see how you can change all of these colors? If you click on the color, you can change the color. So there's lots that you can do with your gradients. Hit close and notice I've affected the line. Under fill, do you see how you have gradients here? So you can make a gradient within your picture. If you want to change your fill gradient, go into gradient, more gradients. There you have it. You're back to that window. So you can click in and change your color and make your own color. Notice this gradient here. Under Shape Styles, in this window, these are all presets, so you can pick any of what we call themes, any of these themes. This will overwrite all of the stuff that we picked with the shape fill, shape outline, and shape effect. So these are just preset themes that you can choose. So shape styles are a really cool thing. In addition, in the drawing tools, you have word art styles, but we didn't insert word art yet. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go back to my Insert menu. Under Insert, I'm going to go over to my word art. When I click on word art, I can pick anything that appeals to me. So let me take this A. It says enter your text here. So write your message. You can use all of your home font tools to choose the font that you're looking for, to choose the colors that you're looking for, to fill your word art. You can click and drag and move your word art where you want your word art to be. So let's go back to our drawing tools, opening up our drawing tool format ribbon. So we see the shapes, we see the styles. Let's look at the word art styles. Yes, I can personalize word art. Quick styles. These are our preset styles, which you've already selected. So once you pick one, you can always change it to something else. But you can also say, don't like that red? Go ahead and change your fill color. That's the color of your font. This is your outline. Do you want to change your outline? Go ahead, give it an outline. Again, you have shadows, reflections, glows, bevels, 3D, and the all-important transform, which you may remember from prior versions of Word. With the transform, you can determine how your text is printed. Even more so, you have word art styles. So we see this little icon here. I can open up the word art style window. Again, I get all of my different options, so I can play in here as well. See your vertical alignment? It can be at the top. Your text direction, horizontal, but look at the different options you have. So you can rotate, all right? You want to say you want it in the middle? You can put it in the middle as well. So we have word art styles, and we can really personalize our word art to the way we want it displayed. Our next box is text, and this has to do with your text direction. So I can change my text direction. Notice how my word art changes, and this also works for a text box. Okay. So let me change it. I can even leave it on the side like that. Okay. Aligning text. Again, you're at the right, the center, and the left. You saw these options in Word. You're going to see multiple places in order to make the same choices, to do the same thing. And if you wanted to make a hyperlink, this is how you would do it. Okay. Next, we have the arrangement group. In the arrangement group, this is when we're dealing with layers. Notice that this happy day is on top of my circle. Okay, there we go. I'm just moving it around. There we are. Let's just rotate this just a little bit. That looks good. Now, if I wanted to, I can arrange where this is visible. This makes sense now, but what if I made happy day first and then my circle? If that was the case, this happy day would be behind my circle. So let's take a look at my bring forward. This would bring it forward if it was behind it. Let me send it back. Send to back. Do you see how it's gone? In order to move this to the front, that's when we use our bring forward. So we can say bring to front. So you can send to back just one more time, and you can bring to front. Selection pane. In your selection pane, you're going to notice all of the objects that you create. So if you have a hard time selecting a particular object, notice that you can open up your selection pane in order to see it. So here I have my text box selected. Notice over here in the corner, I can rotate. If I hit the down arrow, I can also flip. So notice how this affects what you're working on. So there's your flips and your rotates. You don't really need to use your selection and visibility pane, but sometimes when you're dealing with a lot of shapes, this makes it a lot easier for you to click on the correct object that you want to affect. In addition, notice that you have group. Sometimes you get something that you really like and you want to group it together to make it one image. That is a good thing, especially if you're doing a lot of objects. So I can hold the Shift key down, select both objects on the stage by clicking on them, and I can group these items together. Now they are one. Have no fear, you can always ungroup. So if you have a grouped object selected, click the group shape and select ungroup, and you're back to where you were. Grouping is a cool thing. Whoops, get back on there. Get back on there. In addition, in this Arrange group, we have the Align button. This comes in handy when you have multiple objects and you want to make sure that they're all aligned. So let me just draw a couple of circles here. I'm not going to zazz them up or anything like that. I'm just going to draw a couple of circles. And let's say, for instance, that I want to align them so they're all lined up on the left. Hold the Shift key down and select your objects. Go up to your Align, hit the down arrow, and then choose how do you want to align them. I had said I wanted to align them at the left. Ta-da! See how they're now all lined up at the left? Take a look at the other alignments. Maybe I might want to have the exact same space between my circles. I can say distribute vertically. Ta-da! Now I have beautiful equal space in between. So your alignment tool comes in very handy when you're working with a number of shapes. Here's something that's very important: wrap, text wrap. This becomes very important when you insert an image. So I'm going to insert an image here. Go back to my insert ribbon. I'm going to go to my clip art. Clip art will access clip art available in Word. So I'm going to say turkeys. I want to go to a turkey. So here I see a bunch of different turkeys. Let's take this turkey and I'm going to insert my turkey. Now, again, I have turkey here. But when I go to move this turkey, do you see how it's not moving? It's like, well, it's stuck. Because by default, Word puts the image in line with the graphic. Let me take my selection pane off, get it out of the way. I'm talking about text wrap. So I want to be able to move this turkey wherever I want. This is where we go to wrap text. So by default, it's in line with text. We don't want that. I usually use behind text or through. Behind text tends to work more often. Don't get frustrated if you find you move your object and other things move. You'll see that happen more when we use our paint tools. But now I can put my turkey wherever I want. Wrap text is on the picture tools. Anytime you insert a picture or clip art, you want to look for wrap text. Right click, there it is, wrap text. The last thing I want to show you in this group is position. Notice that this is the picture tools format bar, very similar to the drawing tools format bar. So a lot of the things that I've shown you in this video are shown in other videos as well. Okay, back to drawing tools. Format bar. We have covered almost everything on the ribbon. There's just a couple of other things that I want to review with you. One of them is the size of the image. So you can change the size manually in the size group. So this is your height and this is your width. Pretty easy. If you open up the size window, notice that you have your absolute size, your relative size. You can rotate in here, you can scale. Locking the aspect ratio means that if you were to change the width, it's going to change the height equally. In the layout, you have text wrapping as well, multiple ways to do things in Word. And you also have your position. What is the position of the group that you want? And I know you don't use that much, but this position tab correlates to this position. Where do you want the drawing object in relationship to your text wrapping? We really don't use it that much, but it's here for you to help you. And notice they have even more layout options, which gets you to the exact same place where you saw in this window. All right, so again, multiple places to access stuff. Almost done. One last thing I want to show you, and it's in the insert shapes. We see all the common shapes here. This is to insert a text box. So if you wanted to type something, you could click on text box and type, "Hello there." By default, text boxes have this border. Many people don't like that border. If you don't want the border, you go to Shape Outline and simply say, "No outline," it's gone. Some people have a problem thinking to go to Shape Outline, but this is a shape and you can remove the outline. Finally, the last thing I want to show you is this wonderful tool here called Edit Shape. You can edit a shape, and when you edit the shape, you can change the shape, let's say from a circle to a triangle. Ta-da! But even more important is you can edit points. If I click Edit Points, notice that I can now really morph my shape. Edit points. All right, so that could be a cool thing. You can take your circle. Let's go to Edit Points here. Notice how I give me more points? So you can use a basic shape and morph it into something else that you might want. That's it. I've just introduced you to all of the drawing tools. Happy drawing!